I hear my own voice, I'm like stressed.
Stressed? Why?
I never like to hear my own voice. Speaking voice.
Then make a sound that you like.
I don't know.
It's acting. It's just acting. You think we naturally sound like this? No. We don't. We pick sounds that we like.
Even on your day-to-day?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, most kids start doing that because they don't want to get bullied. You know, you don't sound like the kind of voice that you just want to beat the person up, and so you begin to shape your voice to be something.
At 13, at 13, 14, I was singing sopranos part for the longest time, and then finally my voice broke at 15.
Oh.
And that's when I downgraded to the tenors part.
Downgrade?
Yeah, because in school where there's sopranos, alto, tenor, and bass.
Oh.
So like SATB. So like you go, okay.
You went from S to A to T.
Yeah, not even A. It's like directly to a T. And then you're like, yeah, it was interesting. It was a long time ago.
Hi guys, this is for Life is the Cast. With me is Victor. Why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself, your background, maybe your relationship with music, and how did you discover the KLMC?
I've always loved music. It's been since young. I think if you grew up in the 90s, you go Disney, and then that's sort of how you learn it. And anyway, I think my music taste came from my father, who really sort of taught me to listen to everything. And so there's no judgment, but you just hear different sounds, and whether you like something or not, that's your own choice. And so how I came into KLMC really was, I think I've seen some footages of some previous semesters, the semester before mine, and then it took me a minute and go, maybe I should join. And that's how I entered in. So it was 17 years since my choir days that I decided to go back into a choir.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it was like that.
Okay, so we started talking about the musical, possibly in June.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when we shared it with you guys.
Yes.
That we wanted to do this crazy idea. What was it like for you, your first impressions, and then leading towards the production? What was that like? Doing production week, what was that like? And after?
I think I think because I have no experience in being in the production or musical, so I have no expectations. But because I have no expectations, I also didn't realize how much work that needs to be done going in. And I think June, when you said it, those who have done it was like, we don't have much time to put it together. And I realized why over the months that we go in. I think it's sort of crystallized, I think, in August and September, where we finally see the whole picture that you have in mind. I think that's sort of where we start to crystallize that. And it sort of gave us an idea about how the Kevin's character sort of played, and then gave us, so this is the stories he's telling. And, it gives a full circle. And we get where we're going to be at.
Okay.
I think that's sort of where we are.
Okay.
Yeah, so it took me a minute. And then, I think we auditioned in July.
End of July, beginning of August, sorry.
Yeah, then we sort of audition. So, yes, then we go for audition. Then we start learning the parts. So I think you had 2 parts in mind for me at the time.
Right.
And I was like, stressed.
Right.
My brain goes stressed.
Right.
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, I told you I wanted to just do one.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what to expect, and then I think it started to get overwhelming for me to just juggle between the two. Unlike Teddy, who did the 2 parts, was like so brilliant, that one. But I think towards the end, we start to see that I think everyone during the final week, during rehearsals, I think that's when everything comes together and you start to see the visuals, you start to see the sound, the lights, and then you go, this is how our voice is going to be put into the musical. And I think that sort of sets the tone for me. Yeah, so, yes.
What was it like during the show and after?
During the show, I love our huddle. I don't know what you call it, huddle. I call it huddle.
Yeah, musical huddle.
Yeah, and that was
They
every
call it theatre circle.
theater circle. So I think I love those moments the most because that's when you see everyone down to the crew.
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
Yes, and you get to see everyone who is a part of the show, and dedication. Like you hear CJ so happy with her performances every time she sees it, every time she cried. So it was that. And then I think when we wrap up the last show on Sunday night, I had completely blanked out the next day. I don't know what to do.
Right.
I was like not packing to go for the show next day. So I think there was a moment in a gap for me. I didn't know what to do for a few days because I took a day off.
Right. Smart.
And I was like, oh wow, I'm not going. I'm not singing. I just played by the pool.
I have lost my purpose in life.
For what? Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when we all came back in January, that's sort of like, oh, okay. That all these
right.
the nominations and everything that came about, I was like, wow.
That was only
in last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are there any regrets or things you would change?
I don't like to look back in the past for me.
Yeah.
Meaning, I've made choices that I've made at the time. Even during the show, yes, there are regrets, but I could have done better. I could have done more. I could have been harder on myself. But do I regret not being harder then? Yes. But today, would I be regretting it? No.
Okay.
Because I look forward to the next one.
Okay.
I would rather do more for the next show, next performance. Doesn't matter where it is.
Fair.
That's my philosophy in life. So I don't really have regrets. I do have regret in terms of the one thing that you said to us. People come and go, so you will never see the same bunch of people anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Even in the musical, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that to me, I don't want to say it's a regret, but it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That we don't get to hang as much, but
that's
that's true. The camaraderie that will not be the same. You'll meet different people,
right,
for sure, but it would not be the same.
No, it won't be.
Yeah. So I think that's the one thing I'll probably miss the most as well.
Yeah. Is there a message you would like to share with your younger self, or with anyone else out there that needs to hear what you have to say?
To my younger self, I think my younger self, you should have followed your dreams when you were 18 and do more musically. Part and parcel why I didn't do it because my parents, and they didn't really support the idea. I get it. I know where it came from. But that would be something, if today a young 17, 18-year-old, go for it. I would say go for it. Like, there's nothing to lose. If you can do something in 2 years, 3 years, and you make something out of it, I think that's great. Then maybe that you can really do something. But if you really can't, you can always take a pause, do something else. And at least you don't regret when you're young. Because when you're older, yes, you can do anything in life, different ages, different stage of life. But there are things that when you're younger, you have the nothing to lose kind of mentality, right? Like right out of school, you go like,
and now you have everything to lose, is it?
now you have more to think about.
You're not wrong. You're not
You
wrong.
have to pay a loan.
Whoa.
We went a very different direction, but yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of things you have to figure out monetarily speaking.
Okay.
Commitments in life. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I think that's for me.
Something that's not so obvious is we had just now our worst auditionee, which is Xavier, and this one was our best auditionee. And because it's also myself and Thomas's first full-length musical, when we auditioned, we did it based on, not to say a meritocracy, but that it was a meritocracy, with his audition being the very best, but being unsuitable for the lead character. We gave him 2 lead roles. He was understudying, he was going to do Sparrow, as in he was going to do Sean Chu's character for the first date as well. And he was also going to do the lead in Thomas's story, which is My Top Trading. Yeah, and you did very, very well for all the Sparrow rehearsals we did. You were actually easier than Sean. Yeah.
I love that song.
He was stubborn. Yeah, but yeah, we
love
could
that
hear it. So his audition was so good because I think even before we set audition songs, he knew every word. He knew the songs. Everyone was like, "What song is this? What song is this?"
I love that
But
song.
he knew Funny Girl. He knew Giants in the Sky. So his audition was fantastic, and it came down to the point where you were having to rehearse for almost two separate productions.
Yeah.
And it became a bit tough. And it also meant that someone like Charmaine would have to rehearse with two different actors.
Correct.
And she's already doing that for two different musicals with Roughly for the Doggy musical and with Sean for the First Date. So we did speak to him and ask, is it okay if we just give you one lead role instead of two? Which you very
Best
graciously
decision made that day was it was
I
necessary.
think there is a bit of a
It was
feeling that I would have loved to see what you did with Sparrow and stuff like that. You know, that entire character and those songs.
But Sean did so well.
Oh, of course.
I loved his portrayal.
You would have been different.
I would have been different.
Yes,
I believe I would have been different.
But I think it would have been wonderful to see you try that. Yeah. So
maybe my next showcase. I'm kidding. I don't think I will do it.
Yeah.
I know.
I did think you have a really rough time with the acting.
Yes, that was.
So that's something that I think that we failed in the audition process because we never pushed the acting boundary.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think for me that was my bigger challenge because I didn't think too much about it. Because to me, I wanted to just do the song well, do the song justice. But it didn't occur to me about the acting bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my own meltdown. Okay, at the point in time, I was shitting myself crazy. But this is the hindsight part now.
Yeah.
Now looking back, I wish I was told earlier, at least for me, about how shitty it was, to work on it more. Meaning, at that point in time, like, so for me, when I was throughout the, I would want to do more. I mean, as in, get my head start to know. So now, rather than, I can't act as well. So maybe my focus would not be to perfect the song. Rather, I would perfect more on the acting bit for me. That's how I look at it.
We had to play very hard and what do you call it, fast and loose with the rules, and that worked for you. Like I remember the moment when Tommy began to help you. Yeah. Apart from that,
let's not go about that one. That was just a bad choice.
The difference we saw was wonderful. I mean, it was somehow so much more engaging, and you began to enjoy it a lot more. You could see.
Yeah.
You're too honest. When you're not having a good time, it's like it's there. It's like people are not going to pay money to watch this face of yours. And then when you're having a good time,
I have to thank Tommy.
Oh my gosh, Xavier.
Okay, so I really have to thank Xavier for that because he really stepped out of whatever he was doing for an hour. We were just sitting in a room and he was just going through the script as I would. But instead of telling me what should I do, he just said, do this, do this, do this, do this. And just, that's it. That's all he had said. Do this, do this, do this. And we go through and it's like, this is the maximum you can go on stage. Anything more than that, that's it. You're too far from Mr. Leo Taylor's role. So you're too far from him. So he's like, this is the maximum you can go, at least for the parts that I'm in. So it's sort of, okay, I get it. So like there's too much because then you'll miss the light when you move too far out.
Right.
So I think that sort of helped me like, okay, I'll go with 10 cues, 20 cues for this particular scene. I think I learned better maybe, I think that way.
You're not wrong. I think the Western approach doesn't work for everyone. Which is, we're not ever allowed to teach you what to do. We're never allowed to show you what to do. And actors should never direct each other or even teach each other how to act. but we really threw all that out the window for this production. Not just with you, but how everyone helped each other to sing, how to act, how to dance.
Yeah, and I really love that. Honestly, that was
Likewise,
the best bit.
I loved it too, because I learned a lot too by not being, insecure about all of that.
I think like in the dressing room when we were all rehearsing, like Xavier was going through, like he had his moments, right? That he was really trying hard to nail it down. We all were trying to nail down our performances as well. So we sort of help each other. Like we know there's a thing not working vocally, then scrap that. Let's just go with it. Go with the flow. It's okay. But yeah, rather than you go flat on a note, you just do same key. Don't change the note. Okay. You may not like it, I know, I'm sorry, but at least you're not flat on
Please
stage.
don't destroy my music, that's all I ask. It's okay. I love that you guys tried out in the rehearsal space and not on stage.
Yes, we did.
For most of you.
Who
was the one that kept doing... Calvin. I'm not cutting that.
Yes.
Okay.
He has options.
He's wonderful.
He's so good.
Okay. Thank you, Victor.
Thanks.
Okay.